Hello children, this video we are going to see about process involved in respiration. So there are two processes mainly involved in respiration. They are breathing then cellular respiration. So what are the two processes involved in respiration? Breathing and cellular respiration. First we can see what is meant by breathing. The process by which an organism takes in air rich in oxygen and give out air rich in carbon dioxide is called breathing. Okay, so the process of intake of organism, uh, the air which is rich in oxygen and it gives out the air which is rich in carbon dioxide is called as breathing. The process of taking in air, that means the process of taking in air rich in oxygen is called as inhalation. It is taking inside, so that is called as inhalation. And giving out of air is called as exhalation, which will give out the air rich in carbon dioxide. That process is called as exhalation. One breath constitutes one exhalation and one inhalation. So one breath it includes one exhalation and one inhalation. Breathing rate depends upon the number of times a person breathes in 1 minute. Okay, the breathing rate in every individual, it depends on the number of times a person breathes in 1 minute. At rest, a normal person breathes 15 to 18 times in a minute. So when the person is at rest, the normal person, they will breathe 15 to 18 times in a minute. So here you can see the diagram of inhalation and exhalation. So the process of drawing in air which is rich in oxygen is called as inhalation, and the process of removal of air out or the giving out of the air which is rich in carbon dioxide is called as exhalation. The oxygen requirement of the body will be vary depending upon the activity. Example, the breathing rate will go up to 25 times per minute during exercise or while running. So during physical activity, the breathing rate will be increased. So normally it is 15 to 18 per minute, but during exercise or while running it will be up to 25 times per minute. Faster breathing makes more oxygen available to the body cells. So when we are breathing fastly, it will make the availability of oxygen more in our body cells. The breathing rate will goes down when a person sleeps. Okay, so when the person is sleeping, the breathing rate will be slow. Now next about cellular respiration. The oxygen which we breathe is transported to all the cells of the body, and oxygen breaks down to release energy and carbon dioxide. The process of breakdown of food in the cells to release energy is called a cellular respiration. Okay, so the oxygen which is transported to all the cells of the body, it will break down and release energy on carbon dioxide, and the process of breakdown of food to produce energy and is called as cellular respiration. Now let's see human respiratory system. So the organs in the human respiratory system are nostrils, nasal cavity, windpipe or trachea, then bronchi, then lungs. Okay, so these are the organs in the human respiratory system. So what are they? Nostrils, nasal cavity, windpipe, trachea, bronchi and lungs. Now passage of air. So air enters our body through two holes in the nose which is called as nostrils. Okay, so air enters our body through nostrils, and passes through the nasal cavity. So it passes through the nasal cavity to the windpipe, or the other name of windpipe is trachea. So from the windpipe or from the trachea, the air passes into small tubes called bronchi. Then each bronchus, it enters into the lung. Inside the lungs, each bronchus divided into large number of small tubes called bronchioles. Okay, so each bronchus, again it enter into the lungs. Inside the lungs, again it will branch into large number of small tubes called bronchioles. At the end of each bronchiole, there is a tiny air space that is called alveoli. Okay, so at the end of each bronchiole, there will be a tiny air space called alveoli. The walls of alveoli have large number of blood capillaries through which the exchange of gases take place. So exchange of gas take place with the help of large number of blood capillaries which present in the walls of alveoli. Lungs are situated in the chest cavity and it is protected by rib cage. So the lungs which is situated in the chest cavity protected by the rib cage. And a muscular sheet called diaphragm, it forms the floor of the chest cavity. So the floor, the outer covering of the chest cavity is formed by the muscular sheet called diaphragm. The movement of the diaphragm and rib cage are involved in the process of breathing. So when the person breathes, there will be a movement of diaphragm and the rib cage. So diaphragm means it is the muscular sheet which forms the floor of the chest cavity. So when there is a breathing process, there will be a movement of diaphragm and the rib cage. Now, mechanism of breathing in human being. So when you breathe, human being chest goes up. Okay, so I told there will be a movement of diaphragm. Yes, so when you breathe, human being chest, it will goes up, that is it will expand, and goes down and it is compressed. So during inhalation, the ribs move upwards and outwards and upwards, and diaphragm, it will move down and increase the space in the chest cavity. Okay, so I told when there is a breathing process, there will be a movement of the ribs and diaphragm. Yes, so the ribs is the outer covering which is protecting lungs, and during inhalation, what will happen? The ribs and diaphragm will ribs will move upward and diaphragm will move down, which will give space in the chest cavity. This movement increases the space in chest cavity. Due to that, the air will rush into the lungs and the lungs inflate. During exhalation, just opposite, the ribs will move downwards and inwards, and at the same time the diaphragm will move up, which will reduce the size of the chest cavity, pushing the air out of the lungs. The air which you inhale contain 0.04% of carbon dioxide and 21% of oxygen and some amount of water vapor. So you know now exhalation, inhalation. So the air which we inhale contain 0.04% of carbon dioxide, 21% of oxygen and some amount of water vapor. And the air you exhale contain 4.4% of carbon dioxide and 16.4% of oxygen and water vapor. Okay, so this contain what? 4.4% of carbon dioxide, 16.4% of oxygen and water vapor. It shows that some oxygen is used up in our body. So some of the oxygen which is used up in our body will be exhaled out. So I hope you have understand about the process involved in respiration, that is breathing and cellular respiration. If you have any doubt, you can ask children. Thank you.